The Eagles' first joint training camp practice with the Cleveland Browns was an intense, hard-hitting session that showcased both teams' desire to prove themselves early in the preseason. From the opening whistle, it was clear that players on both sides were determined to make an impression, with no shortage of physicality, focus, and competitive fire. For the Eagles, though, the biggest star of the day might not have been whom most fans expected. While the offense experienced some ups and downs, particularly for quarterback Jaylen Hurts, there were also several standout performances and interesting storylines that emerged, painting a picture of where the team stands as the regular season looms ever closer. Injuries continued to be a talking point, with updates on key players such as A.J. Brown and Landon Dickerson providing a necessary reminder of the thin margins in professional football. Additionally, second-year edge rusher Jix Hunt revealed some significant changes he made during the offseason, showing that the Eagles' young players are putting in work behind the scenes, striving to elevate their games. Meanwhile, the ongoing quarterback situation remains a concern for fans, as Hurts continues to navigate a complex offense under new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, a situation that is adding layers of uncertainty and intrigue to the team's preparations. Wednesday marked the beginning of what could be the most critical days of Eagles training camp, with the Browns visiting Philadelphia for 2 joint practices set to take place on Wednesday and Thursday. These sessions are particularly valuable for multiple reasons. First, facing off against a different opponent allows the team to test itself against unfamiliar schemes, personnel, and strategies, providing a sense of what to expect once the season begins. Second, these practices represent one of the only opportunities for Eagles starters to engage with outside competition before the first regular season game. For a quarterback like Jaylen Hurts, entering his 6th NFL season with his 6th different play caller, these live reps are especially critical. Adjusting to Kevin Patullo's offensive system requires more than memorizing plays. It involves instinctively reacting to defenses, understanding tempo, and building rhythm with his teammates in game-like situations, something that can only be tested under pressure against real opponents. Patullo emphasized the importance of treating these joint practices as if they were actual games. He noted that the goal was to replicate the flow, pace, and decision-making of real game action, giving players a chance to experience what their responsibilities and reads would feel like under true conditions. The biggest thing is just to run it like a game as best we can, so we can feel the structure and organization of how we're going to operate, get plays in and out, and allow guys to feel like they're playing in a real game, he said. The Eagles coaching staff clearly views this as a valuable testing ground, and the players responded accordingly. For Hurts, these sessions are also an opportunity to continue building his reputation as one of the most cerebral players in the NFL. Recently, he received high praise from Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning, who spoke on the PFF podcast about Hurts' preparation and approach. Manning lauded Hurts not only for his physical abilities, but for his commitment to understanding the game on a deeper, intellectual level. "He calls me a lot, asks me questions, and is always a student of the game," Manning said. "You think about his athleticism. He can squat 600 pounds, run over guys, throw a mile. But what's impressive is his appreciation of the cerebral part of football and how he's taken his game to the next level. I think the sky's the limit for this guy." Such praise from a player of Manning's stature underscores the respect Hurts commands among those who have played at the highest level, even if media narratives sometimes downplay his talents. While Hurts worked to navigate his new offensive system, several defensive players also made significant impressions during the joint practice. Rookie defensive tackle Tyrese Robinson, though still developing, showed encouraging signs of progress. Robinson spoke candidly about the challenges he's facing, noting that his focus has been on refining techniques, holding his ground against double teams, and improving his ability to disengage from blocks to make plays. As the 4th defensive tackle on the depth chart, Robinson's continued development could provide valuable depth and rotational support for the Eagles' defensive line this season. Observers noted that Robinson's work ethic and determination suggest he has the potential to carve out a meaningful role if he continues to improve. Another defensive standout during the first joint practice was edge rusher Azeez Ojulari. Early in the session, He recorded a sack against the Browns' second-team offense and later made another impactful play against the run, this time going up against Cleveland starters. Ojulari's performance stood out not only because it highlighted his ability to make plays consistently, but also because it demonstrated his potential to be a difference-maker on the Eagles' defensive front. The veteran's contributions were especially important given that he has been relatively quiet in camp up to this point, and his ability to influence the game provides a boost for a unit that relies on pressure and disruption to succeed. Ojulari has also played a mentorship role, helping second-year edge rusher Jix Hunt grow more comfortable in his own game. Hunt described how observing Ojulari's technique, timing, and versatility on the field has helped him refine his approach and develop confidence as a pass rusher. "Aziz is my dog," Hunt said. "He pointed me in the direction of understanding my rushes, learning what works for me, what doesn't, and how to be comfortable out there. Watching his rushes and learning from his experience has been huge for me." The guidance from Ojulari, combined with Hunt's own off-season work, including adding significant muscle mass, positions him for what could be a breakout season. Hunt's development is being closely monitored by coaches and teammates alike, as his talent and versatility have the potential to elevate the entire Eagles defense. Veteran tackle Lane Johnson also weighed in on the defensive line's overall progress, praising not only Hunt and Ojulari, but also other players such as Joshua, Morajumo, and JC. Johnson highlighted the combination of experience, skill, and work ethic that makes the defensive line an intriguing unit this season. Morrow is probably one of the more slept-on guys, but take it from me, he's the real deal, Johnson said. Such endorsements from a player of Johnson's caliber, one of the premier offensive tackles in the league, underscore the respect these defensive players have earned and the potential impact they could have on the season. On the offensive side, Hurts experienced both struggles and successes during the joint practice. His day began shakily, completing only 3 of 6 passes in 7-on-7 drills and throwing an interception against the Browns' secondary. At times, he appeared uncomfortable with certain defensive looks, and there were moments where his decision-making and timing could have been sharper. However, Hurts rebounded strongly, leading 2 touchdown drives against the Browns' starting defense, demonstrating his ability to adjust and respond to adversity. Hurts and the Eagles' offense faced additional challenges against players like Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive talents in the league. Garrett consistently disrupted the Eagles' line, recording a sack and several pressures, highlighting both his individual skill and the value of these joint practices in testing the team against elite competition. Overall, the session was highly competitive and intense, with both teams demonstrating a commitment to excellence and a desire to gain every possible advantage before the regular season. While the Eagles may have edged the Browns in terms of overall performance, the real value of these joint practices lies in the lessons learned, the adjustments made, and the opportunities for players to grow and refine their craft. The second day of joint practices between the Eagles and the Browns brought an even greater intensity, as both teams began to push beyond the initial assessment phase and into a more competitive, high-pressure environment. Players came into Wednesday's session having already seen one another's tendencies and strategies, meaning adjustments had to be made in real time, requiring mental sharpness and physical precision. The Browns, aware that the Eagles were experimenting with personnel and offensive reads, brought a disciplined defensive approach, forcing the Eagles to adapt quickly, while Philadelphia's defense similarly sought to capitalize on any lapses by Cleveland's offensive line. For many fans and analysts watching, the real story of the day wasn't just the big plays that made highlight reels, but the subtler, foundational improvements that signal a team's readiness for the grind of a full NFL season. In the offensive backfield, Hurts continued to show his dual-threat capabilities, mixing pocket awareness with dynamic mobility that kept the Browns' defenders off balance. Though there were moments when he seemed slightly constrained by the complexity of Patullo's new scheme, his ability to read the defense pre-snap and make rapid adjustments in post-snap situations was on full display. Observers noted that Hurts' deep ball accuracy, once considered inconsistent, had improved significantly in these joint sessions, with several throws threading the needle between defenders and into tight windows that previously would have been considered low-percentage attempts. Wide receiver A.J. Brown, who had already made headlines for his offseason commitment to conditioning and route refinement, displayed a chemistry with Hurts that suggested their connection is stronger than ever. Brown's ability to create separation, adjust to the quarterback's touch, and secure contested catches is likely to be a key component of Philadelphia's offensive identity this season. On the defensive side, the focus remained on discipline and execution. Cornerbacks were tested repeatedly by the Browns' deep threats, forcing them to refine footwork, hand placement, and anticipation skills. The battle between Philadelphia's young secondary and Cleveland's skilled receiving core provided insights into potential matchups for the upcoming season. Rookie cornerback Tay Johnson, in particular, was highlighted for his ability to maintain coverage on some of the league's faster receivers, displaying both instincts and technical proficiency that suggest he could be a reliable rotational player. Meanwhile, veteran safety Marcus Epps took on a leadership role, guiding younger teammates through reads and assignments, demonstrating the value of experience in shaping a cohesive defensive unit. The offensive line, a perennial talking point for the Eagles, faced a stern test against Cleveland's pass rush. Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata worked to protect Hurts while balancing run-blocking responsibilities, encountering the speed and strength of the Browns' defensive front. Despite some early miscommunications, the offensive line as a unit showed resilience, adjusting blocking schemes on the fly and improving execution as the session progressed. Second-year tackle Peter Skoronski received mixed reviews. While he demonstrated solid technique in pass protection, occasional lapses against stunts and twists highlighted areas where continued development is necessary. Coach Nick Sirianni's attention to detail during the line drills underscored how critical these joint practices are in establishing chemistry and communication across the front five. Injuries continued to be a central narrative, though most were minor or precautionary in nature. A.J. Brown and Landon Dickerson both left practice briefly for treatment, but were expected to return, reflecting the constant management of player health that is essential during joint sessions. These moments also serve as reminders that football is a game of inches, where durability can often be as critical as talent. Players on both teams were conscious of balancing aggression with caution, ensuring that competitive intensity did not lead to avoidable setbacks. Medical staff, coaches, and trainers were highly visible throughout the practice, emphasizing the proactive approach to maintaining roster health while still pushing players to perform at peak levels. Beyond the physical aspects, the mental side of the game was also in full focus. Quarterbacks, in particular, were challenged to read defenses and make quick decisions under duress. For Hurts, facing a Browns defense that incorporated disguise coverages, varied pressure packages, and blitzes from multiple angles was both a test and a teaching opportunity. The speed at which the defensive line reacted to protections, the linebackers' ability to read handoffs, and the secondary's anticipation of route patterns forced Hurts to elevate his pre-snap recognition and post-snap processing. Analysts watching noted that his adjustments were more sophisticated than in prior seasons, highlighting an ongoing evolution in his football IQ. These exercises not only prepare Hurts for the Browns, but for the diverse defensive schemes he will encounter throughout the NFC and beyond. Meanwhile, the running backs work tirelessly to refine vision, footwork, and ball security under high-pressure situations. Miles Sanders, returning from injury, displayed explosiveness in cuts, the ability to pick lanes effectively, and situational awareness in recognizing defenders' leverage. He was complemented by younger backs, including rookie David Montgomery, who demonstrated patience, balance, and the ability to follow blocks, signaling a depth that could be crucial as the season progresses. Every carry was scrutinized for efficiency, decisiveness, and decision-making under pressure, with coaches emphasizing the importance of situational football, knowing when to accelerate, when to cut back, and when to protect the football above all else. Defensive linemen continued to assert themselves as key playmakers, with Tyrese Robinson, Jix Hunt, and Azeez Ojulari all delivering impact plays that interrupted Cleveland's offensive rhythm. Hunt, in particular, showcased a refined pass rush repertoire, employing a mix of speed, power, and cunning to pressure quarterbacks effectively. Observers highlighted his ability to bend the edge, dip inside gaps, and maintain hand placement against blockers, all of which indicate a young player on the verge of becoming a consistent game-changer. Ojulari's veteran presence complemented this, as he offered situational awareness, gap discipline, and a capacity to mentor younger teammates through live drills. Special teams also received attention during Wednesday's session, with kickers, punters, and return specialists working on timing, technique, and situational awareness. Field goals under simulated pressure, punts with directional control, and live returns against coverage units highlighted the often overlooked aspects of preparation that can influence game outcomes. The importance of special teams in determining field position, momentum, and scoring opportunities cannot be overstated, and coaches emphasize the integration of these units in a broader team strategy. Young players, such as return specialists and backup linemen, were given opportunities to demonstrate situational awareness and execution under live conditions, gaining valuable experience in roles that could become critical in actual games. Throughout the day, the atmosphere remained highly competitive but professional, reflecting both teams' understanding of the value these joint practices bring. Coaches and players alike balanced aggression with discipline, emphasizing both skill development and tactical awareness. The Eagles staff made frequent adjustments, rotating personnel to assess depth, responsiveness, and adaptability, while players responded with intensity, focus, and commitment. Observers noted that the physicality of these sessions was significant but controlled, illustrating the careful calibration between realism and injury prevention that defines well-run joint practices. As the second practice concluded, the sense of progress and evaluation was palpable. Coaches debriefed with players, reviewing film, offering corrections, and highlighting areas of improvement. Hurts, Brown, and the offensive line had moments to reflect on execution and chemistry, while the defensive unit considered how to refine coverage reads, gap discipline, and pass rush techniques. Injuries were assessed and treated, and players were given guidance on recovery and preparation for the next session. Analysts reviewing the footage emphasized that the joint practices are far more than exhibition. They are critical developmental tools that can shape positional battles, refine schemes, and provide insight into player readiness for the high stakes of the regular season. By the end of Wednesday's session, it was evident that the Eagles and Browns had achieved more than just a day of drills. They had engaged in a rigorous testing environment that revealed strengths, exposed weaknesses, and allowed for adjustment in a controlled but realistic setting. For Philadelphia, the highlights were clear. Jaylen Hurts continues to grow as a dual-threat leader. A.J. Brown remains a dynamic and reliable target. The offensive line is building cohesion, and the defense shows a blend of youth, skill, and experience capable of influencing games. The joint practices have not only sharpened individual skills, but have also strengthened the collective identity of the team, giving coaches and players alike a clearer vision of what is possible and what adjustments are necessary as the regular season approaches. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Philadelphia may be on the verge of making one of the most intriguing moves of the NFL offseason, as whispers grow louder about the possibility of Christian DARRISAW donning the midnight green of the Eagles. The talented offensive tackle, currently a cornerstone for the Minnesota Vikings, has been the subject of increasing speculation after sources close to league executives hinted at ongoing discussions between the two franchises. While no official confirmation has emerged, the chatter around the league suggests that Philadelphia sees DARRISAW as the final puzzle piece to solidify an already formidable offensive line. Fans and analysts alike are dissecting every hint, from cryptic social media posts to front office members spotted in unexpected locations, fueling theories that the Eagles' leadership is preparing a bold statement. The move, if it materializes, would send shockwaves through the NFC East, where competition is fierce and the margin for error is razor-thin. Given the Eagles' recent history of aggressive roster building, few would be surprised if they made a power play to acquire one of the league's rising stars of the tackle position, a decision that could drastically reshape the team's offensive identity and long-term trajectory in the coming seasons. The excitement surrounding this potential acquisition is not limited to Philadelphia's fan base. League insiders are quietly noting that such a deal could redefine how NFC contenders approach their roster construction. Christian DARRISAW, known for his exceptional pass protection skills and ability to dominate in the run game, would instantly upgrade the Eagles' already respected offensive front. The prospect of pairing him with all-pro talents like Lane Johnson and Jason Kelce, should Kelce return for another year, has left opposing defensive coordinators uneasy. Rumors suggest that the Eagles have been exploring creative trade packages, possibly involving future draft picks and rotational players, to tempt the Vikings into parting ways with their prized linemen. Some analysts argue that Minnesota may be hesitant given DARRISAW's youth and upside, but others believe the Vikings could be swayed if they see an opportunity to address multiple roster needs in one stroke. The negotiation dynamics remain clouded in secrecy, but the mere possibility has ignited debates on sports talk radio and social media, where speculation ranges from cautious optimism to full-blown excitement about what such a bold acquisition could mean for Philadelphia's immediate Super Bowl aspirations. Adding to the intrigue, timing could play a significant role in determining whether this rumor becomes reality. The NFL offseason is notorious for its flurry of last-minute deals, and insiders have pointed to the upcoming draft as a potential catalyst for movement. The Eagles' front office, led by General Manager Howie Roseman, has a track record of pulling off surprising trades when the stakes are highest, and this situation fits his pattern of calculated risk-taking. Sources indicate that DARRISAW's camp is aware of the chatter and, while not publicly commenting, may be quietly evaluating the potential benefits of joining a perennial contender. Philadelphia's offensive scheme, built on versatility and balance, could provide DARRISAW the ideal platform to showcase his skills set on a national stage, potentially elevating his profile to elite status. On the other hand, the Vikings' leadership faces the delicate balance of holding on to a franchise cornerstone while also considering the long-term financial implications of keeping multiple stars under contract. Every day, without an official statement, only deepens the mystery, and fans are left wondering whether these rumors are simply smoke without fire or the first signs of a blockbuster announcement. What makes this situation particularly fascinating is the ripple effect it could have across the entire conference. Should the Eagles secure DARRISAW, they would not only fortify their own offensive line, but also potentially force rivals like the Cowboys and 49ers to adjust their pass rush strategies. The NFC East, already a battleground of elite talent, could see an even sharper divide between contenders and pretenders. From a tactical standpoint, DARRISAW's arrival would allow Philadelphia's coaching staff to expand its playbook, giving quarterback Jaylen Hurts more time in the pocket and opening lanes for the run game. Such improvements could translate into a more explosive offense, capable of dictating the pace of games and wearing down opponents over 4 quarters. While some skeptics point out that offensive line chemistry takes time to develop, DARRISAW's high football IQ and adaptability suggest he could integrate quickly into the Eagles system. Meanwhile, opposing fans cling to the hope that the deal will fall through, knowing the impact such a move could have on the playoff race. For now, every whispered report and sidelong comment keeps the rumor mill spinning, with both anticipation and tension building as the offseason unfolds. Ultimately, whether Christian DARRISAW becomes the next major acquisition for the Philadelphia Eagles remains to be seen, but the story has already captured the imagination of the football world. In an era where player movement can reshape the competitive landscape overnight, the idea of DARRISAW anchoring the left side of Philadelphia's line is tantalizing. The Eagles have made a name for themselves by pursuing bold, high-impact moves, and this would fit that mold perfectly. Supporters envision a future where Hurts operates behind an impenetrable wall, skilled players flourish with newfound opportunities, and the offense reaches heights unseen in recent years. Detractors warn that such excitement can be fleeting if the cost is too steep, whether in draft capital, cap space, or locker room stability. Yet even those voices can't deny the allure of pairing DARRISAW's youth and talent with Philadelphia's championship-caliber roster. Until a press conference confirms or denies the whispers, the speculation will continue to dominate sports headlines, each day adding a fresh layer of intrigue to an already compelling offseason narrative. One thing is certain: if the deal happens, the NFL landscape could be altered in ways no one fully anticipates yet. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.